Maths competitions all around the world love giving questions that are based on the year. In this video, I'm going to be going through a bunch of different properties of 2025. The interesting properties that might come up in a maths competition like the AMC, Gauss, Euler, Ramanujan, UK Maths Challenge, whatever. Watch this video and you will learn a bunch of these properties, and I'll tell you which ones I think are really important and probably worth memorizing. Property number one, I think is probably the most important, is that 2025 is a composite number. It's not just any composite number, it is 45 squared. Property number two. Not only is it a square number, it's also the product of two other numbers squared. 2025 is also equal to 81 times 25. This is because its prime factorization is 3 to the 4 times 5 to the 2. Now, because we know it's an odd square number, we also know that 2025 must be of the form 4k plus 1. I will leave it to you to work out what k is. That's a little exercise for the reader. You can also go on and try to work out what happens maybe when you divide this by 6m, like 6m plus what remainder, and try and find its remainder. But I won't go through all of these, but maybe you want to know its remainders when divided by like some common prime numbers. 2025 has some interesting properties when it's written as the sum of squares. So one of the first things to understand is it's a Pythagorean triple. 27 squared plus 36 squared is 2025. Why is this? Well, this is just because you've got a 3, 4, 5 right angle triangle and you multiply every single side by 9. What do you get? You get 27, 36, and 45. So it's written as, and the only way to write it as a sum of two squares, two positive squares, is this way. However, you can write it as the sum of three squares. Pause the video and see if you can work out what they are. There might be more than one way, but I found it like this: 40 squared plus 20 squared plus 5 squared. That's 40 squared plus 20 squared plus 5 squared. And that might be in some way related to the fact that it's 45 squared. You can work that out. Let's keep going through some more of these number properties. Just as all square numbers are the sums of two consecutive triangular numbers, it's important that you know that 44 times 45, so that's a 44th triangular number over 2, plus 45 times 46 over 2, of course, just equals 45 squared, and these will be the 44th triangular number and the 45th triangular number add together to make the 45th square number. You can work out actually what those numbers are. Another cool number property, if you add it to the preceding year, they love doing these questions when they combine the digits of certain years or months or days, and then you multiply it by their difference, which of course is just going to be 1 because they're consecutive years, you will get the number 4049, which is a prime. Don't forget that. Now, on the topic of primes, you should probably just know that the prime below it is 2017 and the prime above it is 2027. Now, they love asking questions about factorials because they really stretch your understanding of numbers. So this is a huge number. If you watch the video that I posted, I think last week, you will get a tailor-made question on 2025 factorial. But let's just have a look at some of the properties of this. It has 505 zeros at the end, and it has approximately 6,000 digits. That might be worth remembering this sort of estimate. There's way too many things to ask about 2025 factorial, but you can kind of play around with it. Let's just have a look at some quite simple number properties of this, some rough estimations. You should know that log 10 of 2025 is approximately 3.3. You should know that the nearest power of 2 is 2 to the power 11, which equals 2048. It's probably good to know what neighborhood you're in. You should also know that the nearest power of 3 is 2187. They might come in handy as well. Now it starts getting a bit stranger. You probably haven't heard of this number. Harshad number. Harshad number is any number that can be divided by the sum of its digits. Now 2025, as I'm sure you already know, is divisible by 9. And we can tell this because 2 plus 0 plus 2 plus 5 is 9. So that makes it a Harshad number. All multiples of 9 are Harshad numbers, but not all Harshad numbers are multiples of 9. There's a really cool property of this that I should have mentioned before. Now, the sum of the first 9 integers is 45. So this gives you this really, really nice property where this equals 45. Now, you should know this relation that the sum of consecutive cubes is equal to the square of the sum. So what does that mean? It means that if I cube all of these, it's the same as squaring the answer. So 2025 is the sum of the first 9 cubes. Some other properties, it has 15 divisors. I am not going to list them out here, but I do encourage you just to start off listing them out. 2025 times 1, and then what is it times by 3? It's 675 times 3, and then it is 405 times 5, and so on. And you should know that if you sum all of these, you will get 3,751. Now, the last thing I would just encourage you to do is to take the number and look at previous maths exams and just see the sort of questions I've asked, and then just play around with this number. See if you can construct some question. Just give yourself some problems on it. Notice, for example, that 20, if we take the first 2 digits and then we add the next 2 digits, and then we square this, we actually get the original number back out. Maybe think about whether there are other numbers with that property. I actually don't know. I'm just making it up now. But play around with it. See if you can work out which one is maybe bigger. So, for example, is 25 to the power of 20 different? How is it different? Is it bigger or smaller than 20 to the power of 25? Maybe think about what the last digit will be of these numbers. Just play around with this number. Get familiar with it. Think about your own problems that you could write about this. I hope this is really useful. Best of luck in any maths competition this year. If you found this helpful or interesting, please hit the like button. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below, and of course subscribe so you won't miss the next video.